Orange skies over Westgate traffic flow. Turning the bay into folded sheets of copper down below. Buildings are turning from factories to magic lights aglow. And I'm taking on a darkness of my own. Windshield of dead flies, no longer free to roam. Heading back out of the roadhouse from one more river ringing phone. Movement can make you weary when you're rushing with the engines moan. And I'm taking on a feeling she's not in there alone. Through the jeans and a nightgown. Tell you two bodies won't be freezing where the candlelight has them bound. Window glass breaking is sometimes the sweetest sound. And I'm taking on a feeling of running till they cut me down. Till they cut me down. Thank you. At this stage where you can hear recordings of music from all over the place and just get off on what really inspires you, it becomes an Australian sound just because this is where I live. The experiences that I draw on in my life that inevitably come through in your work, a sort of cornerstone of what I do is American influences and British influences colliding, and then the multicultural thing comes into it as well. It's not like I've sat down with a you know, with an Etch-a-Sketch and gone, okay, if I mix this and this and this will be Australian. Well, I lost my self-respect with every indiscretion, and I hollow my insides with every unlearned lesson. Yes, and the sheet smell of the burn, and I folded and I lost. Lonely morning's cold out here when nothing comes across. That big feeling carries you on as it flows, and we've been reeling from those morning body blows, and I've been stealing every second that I can to find that big feeling from which I ran. Try to call it like it is, it never felt so true before. You tell yourself it's just a movie, but it's not funny anymore. You set yourself up for a fall, like you believe that you don't care, and fit yourself inside a bottle with only room for you in there. And that big feeling carries you on as it flows, and we've been reeling from those morning body blows, and I've been stealing every second that I can to find that big feeling from which I ran. I'm aching on the inside, and I'm weary of the pace. I'm bruising with each and every step. I might fall from grace. The road I'm on has got me kneeling for you to roll over my world. And that big feeling, keep it coming on, girl. Thank you. Put your hand through the skin of my arm, and I'm falling through the floor. The magic act of your casual charm, I can't shrug it away anymore. Your cool hand
mumbling molasses and stone. You're weaving a spell in the tomb of my bed. I can't shrug you away on my own. My demons can feature every line in the book. Good God, I can't bleed you out of my eyes. You walk by my side, you sit in my pocket with each hit I took. Your hands on my knees and thighs, and I kneel at the bottom of a well. Your finest trick is to cloak prying eyes. I can't shrug you away, so I fell. I can't shrug you away, so I fell.
Chris Finnan probably first told me about the Gov, and there's a lot of venues around Australia that are like that, that just, it's like, if you're good, if you can get a crowd, they'll put you on. Playing with Chris Finnan on percussion with us is definitely a real treat for me. I mean, Chris has been someone who's been a real inspiration to me through the years. He's one of the first people I heard doing this kind of mixture of music into one big kind of melting pot of styles, you know, lots of world music things and mixed in with blues music, and a lot of that came from first meeting Chris when I was a lot younger. And yeah, he's killer. He's going to play some guitar with us tonight as well. And yeah, this is the first time that the four of us will have played like this before, especially with Chris being basically the drummer, but with a whole lot of weird stuff, you know, trash cans and all sorts of things. So yeah, it'll be fun. I'm not quite sure what to expect. So yeah, I just know it'll be good. The song's called Rain on Troy. Brendan McMahon on the keys.
the sidewalk here at night, tuck it under their arm. So I'm walking clear through my dust, safe from joy of temptation's harm. From mom and quick to sympathize, sigh, nod your head and fill your glass. Collar loose and train, tearing eye, soothe your ill with some cheapskate pass. Blood red petals cloud the view of a copper disc moon hung up clear. There's a rose growing through my heart. I'm dying without you here. So much rain on Troy, is it ever gonna dry up? So much rain on Troy, all the slot machines start flashing, roads icy out by the Super 8. This old town, it just lost its passion on the North Road to the interstate. The Joker says, go beg the Lord, taste the loss and try again. I meant it when I said I'd stop. Did you ever hear me lay a bet on when poison from that sharp-toothed thorn does its hard work in my veins? There's a rose growing cold and forlorn. I'm dying without you out in the rain. Stars blink up at night time's tears there. Sleepless eyes search for sun. There's a rose growing through my chest. My roots have been ripped up by the race I run. So much rain on Troy, is it ever gonna dry up? So much rain on Troy, is it ever gonna dry up? Is it ever gonna? So much rain on Troy, is Is it ever gonna dry up? Is it ever gonna? Thanks a bunch. Doing 85 out of Naruma, looking forward to the drive. And I'll cruise up to the rural, don't have to be there till 5. And I won't be around here for quite some time. I'm hanging around Bateman's Bay, waiting to see what's mine. The wind rushing by me in the car park has a sad song to sing. When you're on the outside, sometimes you see these things, like how Diane at the bank wasn't wearing a ring. I'm hanging around Bateman's Bay, waiting to feel something. Yeah, Mr. Finnan. Disappear in a place like this, if I could only dare. Leave no one in Sydney would notice I were there. I'd take one last walk out on my depths out beyond the tide. Just me, the sea, and Bateman's Bay, waiting on a ride. Chris Finnan on the electric guitar there, everybody.
Certain songs, there's just a real freedom and looseness in there that you can kind of take it any direction you want and stretch it around and play with it. And there's even that when you play solo, you know, because obviously when you've got other players up there and you leave it free for them to contribute ideas, it kind of enhances the spontaneity because you don't know what they're going to do. You get these nice surprises during the course of the song from other people throwing in things and conversing with you. When you're playing solo, it's all just your own ideas. So there's certain things that I start to think of that can almost trip you up in a way. You know, maybe playing a song that I've usually would do in a certain tuning, just playing it in a different tuning that night or a different key or something to just make sure that you're on your toes a bit.
This is a song written by a good friend of mine, great songwriter from Sydney, named Don Walker. My God, there's some damaged people around. There's some damaged people around, and there's only you they can tell things to. My God, there's some damaged people around. I hope you're listening. I hope you realize there are people here get so torn by lies. They think anything true must have come from you. My God, I hope you realize my God, I hope you've got a plan. Doesn't have to be one that I understand. I just need to believe there are things we've lost the sense to see. My God, I hope you've got a plan. My God, I'm afraid that I'm alone. Some nights I'm afraid that I'm alone. And I'm saying this prayer, and you ain't there, and I'm free. But I can tell things too, and I'm afraid that I'm alone. They always prey on women like her. They read self-doubt in the way she walks. He suckered her in with a hollow kind word, saying, I just love the soft way that you talk. You won't leave it, scream, how could you? As they replayed the same bloodless fight, and it hadn't seemed long till the joy had left him, and the dark long silence entered their nights. They were going for a meal with her sister. They'd been fighting before leaving home, and he struck her so hard that his palm had blistered. Slap makeup couldn't hide the bruises on her bones. She left the restaurant table without warning. It was not like her to make a fuss. She said, you'll not see me tomorrow morning, for I'm taking the next Brisbane bus. Yeah, she said, dog you Jack, I'm leaving on the next Brisbane bus. There's vultures waiting on nights like these for a woman to leave on her own. The car pulled up beside her near a dark grove of trees. The sky was dark and the night wind groaned. The sky was black and the night wind moaned. And my body lay broken, naked and alone. The crows pecked out my eyes, and the flesh fell off my bones. I watched it all between the dirt and the sky. Yeah, I watched it all between the dirt and the sky. with cuffs around his wrists. And the neighbors watched him get let off alone, standing with their hands in fists. Yeah, they watched him let off. They stood with their hands in fists. They all cried out, how could you? For they knew he was looking for me that night. Now they watch his pleas come out of the TV, and they disbelieve the tears that he cried. But I see him squatting in that cold cell. Yeah, I watch it all between the dirt and the sky. It took a random act to curse him to hell. The stranger done took both our lives. The stranger, he took both our lives. Yeah, that man, he took both our lives.
Between the Dirt and the Sky was one of those that came out of that first few days of touring around in Ireland last year. It's one of the ones where it all came at once. And with that type of thing, what I'll try and do is just go with what's coming into my head, write it down, and try not to think about it too much, and then read it back and see what it's saying to you. See if it needs anything else to finish it, see if there's a tune that becomes obvious. It's got a narrative thing that definitely comes out of that sort of British folk ballad tradition. And then at a certain point it jumps into the first person, and I was reading that first, like, oh, this must be a different song idea. And it's like, oh, no, it's not. This is part of the same story from quite a surreal point of view. I didn't know what to make of that at first. It's like, am I a weirdo here? This is a strange thing to be writing about. But, you know, why question it? Seemed to work. Here She Comes Again, that one came fairly quickly. I mean, I had to wait for a while for... There was a musical idea that was around first for quite a while, like a couple of years. When you get a little musical thing and you think, that would be great to play at a gig. Oh, I've got to get some words for that so we can really rev that one up and fire it up and see how it runs. But I just had to wait because I've been there in the past with trying to force things together, you know. It's like a dating service or something. It's like these two people just aren't getting along. This set of words don't like this music, you know. Any guy who's dodged an ashtray in their time knows that just women are a very wonderful thing, and you just, you know, all of it's part of the joy of it, you know, even the fights, you know, because women always win a fight. They're way better at it than guys. We're idiots when it comes to fighting, you know. My wife's such a strong presence, and these words came out that were just like, I read them to her just as like a good laugh, you know. And then as I'm reading them, it's like, this has a kind of a tempo to it. Hey, hang on, that goes with that. It's like, oh, finally, I've got some words for that song.
Here she comes again, ravens calling from the trees. Car tires hiss it on the road as you wait upon your knees. She's God's work so fine, as if you need a proof to punctuate each punchline. She stabs the glass at the roof. She's a lightning rod, the air sucks out of the room. When she walks in, here she comes again. She's a most tender mercy, yet she's tough as nails. Get your back arching ready, boys, you're gonna heave 1,000 pails that are filled up with men's tears. You so easily broken, cast off to one sigh by offhand was spoken. They roll off her tongue, but it's all undone with a touch of her hand. She's the highest command, need her so bad it's a sin. Here she comes again. Don't be lying in the gutter. Don't be crying at the day. She's a blowtorch mind, and boy, you stood right in the way. She threw CDs at him like they were ninja stars. Kicked him out in the street in front of the rush hour cars. The drivers all laughed at him as the lights flashed in her eyes. As the dark curls flew wild, she's a force that can't be denied. Don't fight it, boy, you'll never win. Here she comes again, here she comes again. Thank you. You've been feeling like an axle in a car that you don't trust. You no longer want the journey. You tell yourself you must. You plug it in to find the reason you do it for, till the strings start scraping, sounds are shaping, sending out their chill, till the air is shaking, the movement's making, lines blur at their will. Everything is still. Fredericksburg's not too far away, heading down on 95. Yeah, but Sunday's got you crawling slow enough to check your pulse. Time don't stop the phone calls. You know too well how that feels. Waitress with too much eye makeup, bring you a red bug meal, and you could almost bet. Yeah, so wet you'd swear it ought to spill. Flies buzz round the street lights, you got nothing but time to kill. Everything is still. grinding a half-light rushes. Drums cloud us on in a crush. Hush my mind, let myself forgive. It's a sin I wanna live. It's a sin and I wanna live. McMahon on the keys. Could have all ended that all night. And I turned my head back to the light. Fire takes all you could give. I sin I wanna. It's a sin and I wanna. It's a sin and I wanna live. Thank you very much, everybody. Brendan McMahon on the keys. Grant Comerford on the bass. Chris Finnan on the percussion and the electric guitar. Thank you very much, everybody.